Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dow Academy Online Learning. We look forward to seeing you all back in class. But for now, stay home, stay safe, and remember to always wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds. Let's begin.
Hello, Form 4s. Today we are going to look at a new topic, that is the Cold War. And the key question to this topic is, who was to blame for the Cold War? When we look at our syllabus, it covers the causes of the Second World War, but we do not actually look at the cause of the war itself. However, in this topic, we are going to look at what happened at the end of the Second World War. And we saw in the chapter that we looked at on events that led to the outbreak of the Second World War that the war actually started in 1939 when Germany invaded Poland. Then by May 1945, American troops entered Berlin from the west and Russian troops entered from the east. The two managed to defeat Germany and celebrate together. However, we are seeing that 3 years later, these former allies were arguing over Berlin, and at that point in time, it looked as if war was a possibility. So, our question now is, what had gone wrong? So, we are going to look at why the wartime alliance between the USA and the USSR broke down. And before we look at the conflicting systems of the USSR and the USA, let me try to explain what the Cold War was. The Cold War was not a military conflict, but it was more of a war of words and propaganda. And I'm sure by now we now know what propaganda means. It simply refers to the set of messages sent usually by political leaders. And these messages are aimed at influencing the opinions or behavior of large numbers of people. So that is what the USSR and the USA were trying to do at this point in time. And we find that the rivalry between them resulted in a frosty atmosphere, but no actual fighting took place. It was more of a tension between two ideologies, that is, capitalism and communism. We have looked at these two terms in past lessons, but let me quickly go over them again. USA was a capitalist state, and under capitalism, the means of production is owned by a few rich people. They'll be the ones who will be controlling the big industries, the big mines, the big factories. They'll be basically owning all the means of production. And usually property is privately owned. On the other hand, with communism now, all industry will be owned and run by the state. So you find that America tried very hard to make sure that communism did not spread throughout the world because they didn't want those who owned the means of production in their country to end up losing their private property. And if we look at these two systems again, you'd find that in America, democracy was practiced, whereby the government was chosen in free and democratic elections. But on the other hand, with the USSR now, there was mainly a one party dictatorship. And the elections were held, but you find that all candidates belonged to the Communist Party. So everyone was eventually going to vote for a communist, and communism was going to stay. All right.